Just leave me to do my dark bidding on the internet.
It's called Two Brothers. Two Brothers. It's just called Two Brothers.
And welcome to a chilling episode
Oh my god.
of Two Brothers. I am your host, Bigfoot. And sitting across from me is none other than Frankenstein's monster.
You bitch.
And tonight, we're going to be celebrating our favorite month
Not really?
of... Is this not your favorite month?
Yeah, dumbass.
Our favorite month, October, otherwise known as, Halloween. It's not Halloween yet, but you know what I mean. And we love it because we get to watch scary movies. We'll be doing that in a future episode. But we also love October because we get to play some scary-ass games.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're here to talk about... Can you fucking sit up?
I am.
No one can hear you.
Hey, can you hear me?
No, well, it feels like you're across the room, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Jesus.
Alright, so who's gonna start it?
You go ahead and start.
Alright. You know, when, just kidding. Well, we always play during the spooky season, and we already talked about it. What?
What the fuck is this fucking Nick Jr. over here?
Yes.
Called spooky season?
Little bitch. Yeah. Oh yeah, you fucking with the intro. Welcome to another.
Another what? What did I say? Huh? What did I say?
You said spooktacular.
No, I said chilling episode, okay?
All right, let's get to it. We already talked about this franchise before, and it's near dear to our balls, you know.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you're not wrong.
it's Resident Evil. You know, you can't go wrong playing that game during October. And you can play the whole series in this current
Yeah,
gen.
you really can. That's true. That's a
0
good point.
to 8, man. They're all,
They're pretty much all accessible, except for if you're looking to play like the original PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah.
At that point, you'll need to get a PS2 or PS1 to play Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3. And but yeah, I mean, you got them all, and they're like the best versions that you can play them on, like RE3 remake, RE2 remake, Resident Evil 1 remake, 0, which no one gives a fuck about. 4 called
5.
Veronica, which is another game that not a lot of people like to play because I mean, you fucking played it.
Shit was annoying.
You had to fucking cheat to basically pass that
I
game.
had to do a cheat because that game is really fucking hard, and it is. It's considered one of the toughest Resident Evils.
It's not that it's tough. It's that it's so fucking like weirdly made. Like the backtracking is fucking weird.
You do a lot.
You do a lot of backtracking, but it's not like the kind of backtracking that you have in like RE2 or RE3.
Or the mansion one.
Yeah, it's like this one, you're going back to like the fucking start of the game for some weird reason just to get an item. Then you have to go all the way to where it's like...
Mm-hmm.
And then like, don't get me started on how you get the fucking shotgun as Chris. Like, you have to fucking put in like some sort of, was it like a flamethrower or fire extinguisher or some stupid shit like that. Oh my god!
It doesn't. The game doesn't tell you once you go to the fucking. I think it's Antarctica.
Yeah.
And you fight this fucking creature and shit. Right after you play Chris. So you have to leave him some fucking guns. In the item box. And if you don't, he starts off with nothing, basically.
Dude, as a first-time player, how the fuck are you going to know that you're going to play as Chris?
So thank God I kind of saw a walkthrough, because I knew certain points of the game that's going to happen. That's what I heard, too. And for some reason, in the beginning of the the game is, you have to save or refill the fucking fire extinguisher. And you use that way at the end of the fucking game.
Yeah.
To get a Magnum. Are you kidding me?
This is why I don't like Code Veronica X. it's so poorly designed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some enemies that are so fucking annoying. That's like in the third half of the game.
Yes.
I don't get the fucking appeal of it. For some people who do like it, I don't get the appeal of it. It is just frustrating, and it's okay at best when it like. There's some moments where it's kind of feeling like, oh, this is like kind of traditional RE, but it deviates too far away from like its original formula that it's kind of underwhelming, you know? Like it tries to do, it has the same tank controls. It's a little bit improved. It doesn't have fixed camera angles. It does like that kind of dynamic shit where the camera still follows you every time you enter a new area and shit. That's kind of cool, but other than that, it's just so fucking under. And it has Steve, for fuck's sake, man.
Yeah, I think the worst fucking character.
Him and like Billy Cohen are just so. I mean, Billy Cohen is
I
a better
Billy
character, but like they're both still forgettable in my opinion.
Yeah, I got my train of thought. I feel like this one was like the. I don't know what came out first, Zero or this.
I think it was
Veronica.
Veronica.
Because you can tell there are some elements, kinda, with the Resident Evil 0 with the item thing. You know, you gotta drop some things and go to the next, like that type of stuff. If you guys play Resident Evil 0, you know you get the idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, at first I'll tell you this: I had fun in the beginning, like the prison and all that. That was pretty fun. But after that, it just dragged on too fucking long.
It did.
It's a fucking lengthy game.
It's unnecessarily long. And I think that's also one of the problems I kind of had with RE8 when I first played it. I felt like it was just a tad bit too long. And of course, once you play it through multiple times, it gets, it's more quicker and shit. But you and I were talking about it the first time we played RE8 was like the third half of the game kind of felt like it was teetering closer to fucking Code Veronica territory from like how complicated the fucking layout of that whole like section was, you know? But then of course it just improved once you keep playing and you understand and what you know what to do. Code Veronica, no matter how many times you play it, it's still fucking frustrating.
I had to play because I never beat it, so I had to add that to my like completionist list. Okay.
But you did it in a tainted way. But that was the only way.
Yeah.
Because I tried to fucking beat it the right way, and I got left with the fucking knife and no herbs during that final boss.
But the knife is a powerful weapon. I don't know.
And I didn't know that until like after I was like, all right, I'm not gonna fucking pass it.
Okay, we've been talking a lot too much. It was just not honorable, but it's one of the mentions. If you want to hear us talk about it more,
there's
an episode.
I think it's like the third episode. So
yeah, so there you go.
You can listen to that. But it is a good. Even the mediocre ones are good to play for Halloween.
Which other game you want to talk about?
Shit. I mean, we might as well, right? Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna want to say that later, like towards the end of this podcast. But fuck it, let's just talk about it.
Let's do it.
Silent Hill is probably my favorite horror, psychological horror games. We're talking about survival horror, then of course Resident Evil takes the cake. But like a game that like fucks with you and you can like feel the oppression and like the atmosphere and like all that shit weighing down here. Like Silent Hill is.
I'm trying to say here. It's one of those games like Silent Hill drags you in the game. Like you said, you feel the atmosphere. You feel for the characters and the history and everything, you know? Resident Evil kind of does that, but not as much as Silent Hill does. You know, you how do you say, get attached with these characters.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. And I don't think any other game has done what Silent Hill has done in their games. Silent Hill has like elements of Resident Evil. Like you get to use weapons and like guns and shit like that. And what other games do you see that do that nowadays? That do psychological horror, but also mix in Resident Evil. Beside Resident Evil, because I don't even think Resident Evil does that. Like psychological horror. It does it, but it takes all your fucking guns away. I don't think there's a game that does Silent Hill horror with Resident Evil action. Except for a few other games we'll talk about in the future. I mean, in later in this episode.
Dead Space, the first one.
That was the one I was going to mention. But we're still on the
Well, you
topic of
told
Silent
me
Hill.
so. Name a game, right?
I was going to... Beside...
Fear?
Shit. Fuck, you're right about Fear, yeah.
God, Albert, you fucking...
You haven't even played
Dingus.
Fear in a while. I'm the one who played it. Okay,
So?
I'm the one who should be more embarrassed. But yeah, Silent Hill.
Is it Silent Hill?
Shut- Fuck.
Okay, go.
I don't know if I want to keep going. Fucking. Yeah, I think that game has had a huge impact on horror games, especially PT, as everyone knows. After that fucking demo came out, every horror game tried to copy that. You had games like Allison Road, which I don't think is ever gonna be made. And then a game that I'm currently playing, Visage, which
We'll get there.
does that justice. Shit.
No, it's just I feel this is tough. Like I want to give it more. How do you say? I'm trying to say here. I'm so fucking lost today.
Oh my god.
I feel like
a disaster.
Silent Hill has a better story than Resident Evil, I think. Because what do you mean?
Depends which one. Are we talking about like the main one, or are you talking about like the
trilogy?
ones that had nothing? Okay, the trilogy.
1, 2, and 3 were Silent Hill.
Well, I mean, I don't think I would put 2 in that.
What do you mean?
2 is its own thing. It doesn't have anything with 1 or to do with 1 or
But still
3.
in Silent Hill.
That's the only difference. That's the only difference. That's why I said which one, like
Which
1
one?
and 3, or just games like 2 and fucking Homecoming. Which Homecoming's not that good.
You want to put Homecoming next to
No.
Silent Hill 2?
I'm not trying to put those together. You asked that it has a better story, and I said which ones? The ones that are solo that have nothing to do with the fucking cult, or the ones like fucking 1 and 3 that are connected.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because Homecoming also has to do with the cult, but it has nothing to do with 1 and 3. The only thing is the fucking cult, and Pyramid Head shows up for some fucking weird reason.
2.
Yeah, so exactly. That's the right answer. Not to say that 1 and 3 aren't good. Those are fucking.
So you're saying I didn't know that.
Man.
Well, I did know that, but at the same time, I didn't get that. Like you're right. Like it doesn't follow the cult Silent Hill story. Like you said, yeah, Silent Hill 2, it's its own thing.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about it, like content creators on YouTube and shit, that there's 2 versions of Silent Hill. There's the cult version of Silent Hill, where it's all fucking based off like, people worshipping fucking monsters and gods and shit. And then you have this other Silent Hill that brings you in and is sort of like a judge, and fucking puts you through its paces and torments you and tortures you and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That version of Silent Hill, I think I like way more than fucking 1 and 3, because
That's why
you don't know what it is that's fucking causing it.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that's why Silent Hill is to me has a better story wise. Even if you go in the cold fucking way or its own thing, like you were saying, like Silent Hill 2 brings out let's say your demons out of you. It manifests. And like you say that you don't know where it's coming from. This type of thing. And if you follow the cult thing, it feels the same way. It has, like I said.
Well, it's like the cult version of Silent Hill is something tangible. Like it's causing the fucking other world to appear. You know where these monsters are coming from. The other versions, like it's not so tangible. You don't know who the fuck is pulling the strings. I mean, it's the town, but like, what's this mysterious fucking power that's pulling the strings in this town? Like, you don't really know. I was gonna ask you, like, what's your favorite horror moment or scary moment in the Silent Hill series?
Damn.
I don't know if we asked that or if we did that with Resident Evil Retrospective. I think we did.
I think we did.
So we don't have to cover that. But Silent Hill, what's one of the more scarier moments for you when you play those games?
You go first. Let me think.
Well, because 2 is my favorite for sure. And then I think it's followed by 3 and then 4. And then I don't really touch the other ones. But for me, I think... Well, there's two like options, or like two, I guess, choices. The first one is when you're visiting the apartment and you enter this one room. I think I know you know where I'm going with this, or if you don't, then yeah. But I think it's like right towards the end, once you're done exploring the apartment, you're about to like leave. One of the rooms, and I don't know if a lot of people catch this, there's like a whisper.
Yeah.
Or something. There's like someone talking, and it's been highly debated on what it is that's being said and where it came from. People were thinking that it's like something that happened like in the studio when they're like recording the voices and shit like that, because it's so random and it comes out of nowhere, and it's just someone saying that, like, what was it he said? Something like, I gotta do the laundry, I killed my wife, I gotta do something, I gotta do grocery shopping or some shit like that. And it's so faint that you can barely hear it, but if you just stand still and you listen to it, it's kind of fucking creepy, and it comes out of nowhere. And it completely kind of like throws you off because you don't see it coming. And a lot of people are saying this, like, is that someone from the apartments? Is it James who said it? Or is it like just someone that is like some fucking voice clip that got left behind in the game files or some shit? And then the second option would probably be the Historical Society, which I don't think I realized how scary that area was until I saw Stop Skeletons from Fighting covering it. But playing it again, I don't know, like the symbolism behind it and how you're just kind of going more further and further down this like these fucking holes and shit. And it's like so misplaced from the town of Silent Hill. Is like, where the fuck even are you anymore? Like, it starts off as being like a fucking gift shop / like museum. It ends up becoming a fucking prison towards like the end of that area.
Okay.
And I was like, shit, this is fucking, this is pretty fucked up and pretty scary.
I think it's that I think it's the prison. Tell me what part
2?
On 2 is when you enter a room, right? And there's graves, right?
Oh yeah.
And I guess I don't think it's not the one, but you pull something, or that's something.
Oh,
that's
no,
another area.
I think that's before. So
Okay.
you enter an area with
I know
people that are like hanging or whatever.
But it's not that one, I guess. But is that area when it's dark, right? And it's dirt, and you see the gravestones, I think. And in the middle, there's like this, like a guillotine, maybe, or something like that.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's not the gravestones thing that you're talking about. It's like an open area, and then in the middle of it is a it's kind of, I guess you can call it like an altar
or something,
or some
right?
shit, and you get a horseshoe, and that's it. That's the only item that you're getting from that area, and then you have to just get out. But you're hearing like the enemies like running past you.
Yes.
And you don't know where they're coming from, and also you can explore that area. It is fucking huge.
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah.
It's like a huge, like, area of nothing.
When I don't know if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but once you get the horseshoe, right, you hear noises, like it's people walking and voices, right? When you're trying to leave, the door doesn't open right.
It doesn't.
Right?
No, it doesn't open.
So you're until
you get the thing that you're supposed to get.
So I think that area fucking freaked me out.
Yeah, and when you get that horseshoe, you hear like if someone fucking screaming bloody murder.
Yes.
And then you can fucking leave. And then you use that horseshoe to make like a handle.
Yeah, for like
so
a sewer.
Go
or something.
down further. And also that's one of the only rare moments where Pyramid Head chases you too, is when you're down into like that sewer area and shit, and it kind of comes as a surprise. Because you're just exploring, and all of a sudden he just starts to fucking just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's slow as fuck, but still, like, oh my like pyramids here, like fuck. That was very fucking terrifying, playing that. And then like even the first one, when you like go to the school for the first time, playing it the first time, going to the school, that shit was fucking scary. Seeing those little like apparitions and shit, just come up out of nowhere, and they fucking well, they kind of hump your leg. They don't really do anything, but like that shit's fucking scary, dude. Like Silent Hill has some very twisted and like unique creatures, that I don't think any other horror game has. You know. And
before we move on, we gotta give credit to the soundtrack.
Oh my god, the fucking music
by
Akira Yamaoka.
Yes,
he does amazing work. He is like the John Carpenter of fucking video games. Amazing work, especially with Silent Hill 2.
Oh yeah, that's like the most like used music in all Silent Hill now.
Yeah, it's just, in the movie they use a mix of Silent Hill 2 and 3.
Yeah, so
it's like iconic, and for good fucking reason. Also just like the sound design in that game. Sorry, the sound design was fucking.
No, it's just like if he comes to town, because I know he does concerts. It would be nice to see
that shit was
live.
But yeah,
the music he does and shit. Yeah, so
yeah, the music is top tier. I don't think anyone else.
Before you play the most scariest game for you, I'm going to talk about Fatal Frame 2 real quick. I've been playing that. I have to go back into it. I fell off for a little bit. But man, that game is creepy. It's a creepy game too.
Would you say it's like straight up scary, or is just unsettling throughout the entire time?
Unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of feels like Silent Hill because you're completely in the fucking dark, and all you do is just have a flashlight.
But you have like a camera too, or is it
just... too? But that's when you use it to capture apparitions and stuff.
That's like your offense, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's like your weapon basically. It's like it kind of feels like Silent Hill because you hear noises too, and fucking apparitions appear out of nowhere, and they follow you sometimes. It's like it's unsettling. It's my first Fatal Frame, and I want to say kind of holds up, but at the same time it doesn't. You know, like with the
no, go ahead.
Not like the controls are fucking really
like
clunky. Like it just doesn't feel right. You know.
Yeah.
The way that you use the camera to defeat your enemies, that's kind of old to me, like an old mechanic of a game. But besides that, the story and like the atmosphere and fuck, man.
Well, I was gonna say the same thing with Silent Hill 2 is like its controls it isn't amazing, and I don't think it even holds up in my opinion. But if you just put it on easy and don't fucking worry about the enemies, because it doesn't really, there's no point in playing it on hard mode or anything. You don't get anything different, I don't think. So you're really there for the fucking like the story and the atmosphere. Same thing with like Fatal Frame 2. They're not like, in terms of gameplay, they're not a fucking masterpiece, you know. So, and I think they did that shit on purpose with Silent Hill 2. I think they made it purposefully like hard to control, so you can feel a little bit more like, oh fuck, I don't know, you know. Like I think even RE2 Remake has a little bit of that, where it kind of feels a little bit weird to aim and shoot and everything. I think they did that on purpose, just so to hinder you so that you don't feel like you're in control all the time.
I'm not shitting at the game. Like I know where people coming from with the Fatal Frame. Like
I think it's
scary.
The best.
It's one of the best out of the franchise. It's like top 10 scary games to play, type of thing. So yeah, even Neil Druckmann, that's his name.
Druckmann, yeah.
Yeah, he said
the guy from The Last of Us.
Yeah, he said that was like one of his favorite games, stuff like that. So yeah. Well, talk about the game you're playing right now, which is.
Or should we talk about Dead Space first? We forgot about Dead Space.
Oh, let's talk about this.
Because I was gonna say on the complete opposite of that, Dead Space is like, I think, the best in terms of action. You know, especially like even the first one.
Okay.
The first one and the second one. The third one is also still good, but I don't count that as being nearly as fucking scary.
Yeah.
But the first one when it came out, which was in 2008, a full year. No, was it a full year? No, but like a few months before Resident Evil 5 came out.
Mm-hmm.
And Dead Space managed to do the whole aiming and walking at the same time, which Resident Evil 5 didn't even fucking include. And it's the first one to do it, and a lot of people will call it like the true Resident Evil 5.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, a lot of people will say that because it's like over the shoulder, it plays like RE4, but it improves upon it. You can fucking walk now, and you know, you can fucking use stasis, you can use your fucking telekinesis and shit like that, or whatever it is Maurice called it, the weapon or some shit, you know. But yeah, man, Dead Space 1, because you brought it up earlier too, yeah, it also does psychological horror really fucking well, man. I remember one moment in particular, which actually I did not notice until I played it recently. I can't believe I didn't fucking notice this. It's towards, I'd say, like in the middle of the game. You enter an elevator, and the elevator ride is like suspiciously too long, and the entire time you're just hearing that that fucking song that plays, that lullaby. What is it?
Tinkle Tinkle Little Star.
Yeah. You're hearing that just like faintly. You can hear it. And it plays almost the entire thing until when it's at once that's over, then your fucking elevator ride is over, and that was like creepy as shit, still unsettling to this day. And then there's another chapter, I think is chapter 10 or 11, where you go to the medbay area, which is where your dead girlfriend used to work at, and you're seeing all these bodies with like fucking, I guess you call it cloth bags like around their heads, and it's like almost like they got killed ritualistically, and there's no sound. This is like the first time where it's almost dead quiet, and you're hearing her sing that song again, but you don't know where it's coming from, and it's like almost close to you, but never really too close. And if you stand still, you can hear people whispering and like crying and like all this shit. And then of course, after you're done doing what you're supposed to do in that section, you come back and all those fucking dead bodies are now turned into fucking necromorphs, and you have to kill them all. And for someone who played it in the first, like your first playthrough, you wouldn't think of stomping all these fucking dead bodies. You would just leave them there. And then when you come back, of course, you realize you made a fucking mistake, and now you have to deal with it. Because when they get turned into necromorphs, they're like way more fucking harder to kill. So it's like very fucking tense, especially if you're playing it on a harder difficulty.
No, yeah, like, dude, like playing for the first time, Dead Space. I think it was towards the end. Isn't there an enemy that chases you and you can't kill?
Yeah, you can only cut off his limbs
and like slow him down.
Yeah,
dude, I couldn't do that part. Like it was
no, it was fucking.
I don't
man.
like. How do you say being chased through like in the horror game?
Me neither, man. Nemesis fucking. I think was the start of that shit.
That section from Dead Space. I can't do Shadow of the Damned. When your fucking girlfriend...
Oh my god, she's fucking running at you at full speed.
And I can't do that shit. There was this one section, I think it was a game called Those That Remain. I think that's what it's called. It's kind of like an indie...
horror game?
Indie horror game I bought last year. It's alright. It's not something to talk about, but there's a section also where you go in this room and there's this lady crying, right?
Yeah.
And in that room, you gotta pick up a letter, read it, and she starts like freaking out, right? And that's the moment you gotta start running. And when you run, when you get out of that room, the hallway that you were just at completely just shifts, and it's a longer fucking hallway.
Fuck that.
So you have to run, right? But they throw fucking like furniture at you to block your way.
Jesus.
So he's got to maneuver around, but at the same time being chased. And
I can't fucking do that, dude. So I can't do that. I can't do that with like Mr. X in Remake with the first time. Hearing him stomping around the fucking police department was scary as shit. A little bit of Nemesis in R3 Remake, but I think I got used to it, so I wasn't really scared. This is kind of weird, but in Mercenaries in RE4, when you're getting chased by the fucking double chainsaw guy, that motherfucker does not stop, man. He's on a mission when he's chasing you. Because his fucking, like, he's screaming the entire time. His chainsaw is, like, fucking loud as shit. It's terrifying, dude.
So, yeah, I can't do those sections in games, dude. I can't. For some reason, I get tensed out because you know there's something... Yeah, there's something chasing you.
Yeah, no, and
You know?
I think it's in the second one too, of Dead Space. You get chased by two enemies. You know which one I'm talking about? Where like they peer out from the corner, and then they start chasing you. They make that fucking loud ass screeching sound.
Yeah.
That shit is scary. But also there's these necromorphs that like they twitch and shit, and then they also kind of like they're like the fucking Flash, and they start moving, zigzagging and shit.
Yeah.
That I think it's in the first one. I don't know if it's in the first one that they appeared in or the second one, but that shit was fucking terrifying because you have to deal with them on top of everything else that's fucking like chasing after you, man. Dead Space is just
I don't know, dude. Dead Space, I feel like it's one of a kind, man. Like when it first came out, I think it was ahead of its time because I remember it didn't get a lot of, let's say, traction. Like not a lot of people got. You know, in the hype train basically on that game. Yeah. I feel like later, like months later, it got, you know, people more.
Yeah, a lot more eyes on it.
Yeah.
And then the third one is, I'll briefly talk about it. There's really nothing too terrifying with that game. I think once you play the first one and the second one, you kind of seen it all. And the third one has a more emphasis on co-op. And for fuck's sake, it has a cover mechanic. That's how you know it went a bit too mainstream.
Yeah, it did.
You know? So, the first one and the second one, though, fucking pure masterpieces, in my opinion. Especially the first one. Like, I go back and forth between which one I like the most, but Dead Space 1 is just an all-time classic. Is there any other ones before we, I guess, talk about the one I'm playing currently that we've missed? You know?
Let's give love to some... Splatterhouse.
Splatterhouse? Yeah,
that
a good
fits.
one, yeah.
That fits for this, you know, October season 2. You know,
it's not necessarily scary.
No,
but it has fucking Halloween written all over it. It's like the trick or treat of Halloween games. I think, you know, like the movie.
Yeah,
is kind of like not necessarily too scary, but it does have that Halloween vibe. Splatterhouse is like that. I think it's very goofy and very clunky. I will say that it does not hold up too much, but it's still a lot of fun to play. You know?
Yeah. Would you say it's more like arcade style of a game or no?
Yeah, I would say it's
a beat 'em up.
It's a beat 'em up,
right?
like arcade, and they did it justice. You know, the remake. Because if you're looking for anything else in that remake, then you're gonna be fucking disappointed because it's straight up 100% fucking Splatterhouse, and you have to be a fan of it to really enjoy the remake. You know, I haven't played the old ones too much, but
it comes with the game too. So
it does. Yeah,
that's
it comes
cool.
with the old ones too.
No, I love the when you first picked it up, like when the holiday season. You know, it was on sale that year.
Yeah,
dude, I fell in love with that game too because. To be honest, we need more of those games, you know, like mediocre, you know, just
it sounds weird saying that, but you kind of want those games.
You miss those games, you know.
Shit, before I even forget, The Evil Within 1 and 2 are also fucking good games.
And they're, would you say psychological something?
Yeah, definitely fucking psychological. But I was gonna say that the first one is like purposefully clunky too, and some even call it mediocre
for some reason, dude.
You know, but it's just a fun time.
I just can't get into it.
The first one,
the second one, I feel like that one feels more refined, and something to jump into. But the first one just seems.
No, man, I agree with you. I
don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Like
I think I loved it too much when it came out because it kind of filled that like Resident Evil 4 void. But replaying it a few times, it kind of feels like you're like on in a haunted house. you know, where you kind of know where shit's just gonna pop up. You can kind of tell where the jump scares are gonna be at, and you have these ridiculous fucking monsters. And speaking of fucking chase scenes, that Laura, that shit is intense, man. The fucking
I haven't played that in a while. Laura.
the fucking
Oh yes, no, yeah,
the
yeah,
grunge fucking bloody lady shit.
I can't do that part neither.
I can't no, because you have to fight her in some sections, man. And not only does she run fast, but she fucking teleports too. And she's a one shot, one kill character. So if she gets her hands on you, you're fucking done. And then you have the box man too. That shit was intense. I think I had to pause it when he started chasing me, because he fucking chases after you too.
Dude, I had to pause it with the fucking Laura chick you were just talking about.
And yeah,
I give credit to that. That was
fucking
right?
good.
But
that was good.
Like the rest of the game, it tries to be stealth and
action
at the same time. And it felt
it doesn't work, man. It doesn't. Well, I don't say what doesn't work, but it doesn't mix together well. You know,
like that section when trying to think here. Is that section when you like they first introduced the guy with the chainsaw? I think right, like in the barn.
Yeah,
and that's where he comes out of. That whole section they have enemies, right? And it tells you like you can go gun blazing if you want, but
you're fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked. So
and it's early too.
Yeah, early, and you have to instead of doing that, they throw in the stealth. Yeah, so
yeah.
So yeah, like I can't. I don't know. I just can't get into that game.
I don't know. The first time I played Evil Within, I really felt the intensity. I was fucking. I had to like take a few moments to calm down. But yeah, like I said, replaying it a few times, that kind of wears off really quick, you know, and that's kind of disappointing with horror games. Like a horror game, I know it holds up when multiple playthroughs you're still kind of at the edge of your seat, and that Evil Within 1 at least, it kind of just doesn't hold up after a while. You kind of can tell where everything is going to come
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think that's not your opinion. It's going to be my opinion. Anyone that's listening, you have yours. But I think you're right. Like, I don't think it holds up.
Man. I don't think so. And it you know why? I think what the hell is his name? Shinji Mikami. I think he made, and I keep bringing this up, but I think he made the controls bad because I think he thought that would be a good idea to harken back to like the old horror games like Resident Evil 1 and like Resident Evil fucking remake and shit, where like you kind of felt a bit restricted. But then you're also trying to fight 10 fucking enemies at once. Like, it doesn't work well. It's the controls, and also the fucking camera is just... The camera can be fucking weird at times. You know? Especially when it came out that fucking letterbox. You couldn't see shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
And there was like a problem, too. Because, like, with like the Laura... chick, you have to like aim up to shoot at one of those levers so the fire can come down. You can't see it because the fucking letterbox is blocking your way, so you have to either fucking look up all the way or fucking back up a little bit.
I think that was his version of Death Stranding. He tried to put all these fucking like genres and type of gameplay and story into one, and it kind of worked, but at the same time, like let's say like the first couple hours, it's fucking.
Oh yeah.
Then it just goes down.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piss people off by saying this, but it's still better than Death Stranding, I think. In my opinion.
I agree. If I had an option to play, I'd rather play Evil.
Because you can understand it, right? The second one is. It feels a lot more dynamic with the horror because first off, you can fucking explore this town, but there's also like side stories that are better than the main story sometimes. Like there's one where you're confronting your old fears, and so you're going back to Beacon Mental Hospital and shit, and at the end of it, you get your old fucking gun back as a reward, and that feels so fucking cool. Because you're facing old demons and shit. And you can only find that if you explore the fucking city.
Ain't there some type of monster like that too, chasing you around the town?
Oh, fuck that, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like a huge... No, it's not that one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though.
Any version of lore, something like that?
I don't know because I don't think it is. It's some other fucking creature. But yeah, the second one improves upon everything. The action feels good. Pacing feels good. Side stories are fucking great.
Everything just feels tight in a good way. Like this is what it should have been.
And you can spend like a good 4 hours just exploring the fucking town.
Yeah.
And looking around for resources, finding out these little like stories, and you go, oh, what the fuck happened in this fucking restaurant? And then you keep exploring and shit. It's like, I totally recommend it because I don't think a lot of people played the first one, so they never played the second one.
I feel like people play the first one and
gave up on trying it,
and then gave up trying, didn't like it, so on. And so when the second one came out, people just like, no, I played the first one, I'm good. Yeah. Which I don't think they noticed. Like it's like you said, it's a better improvement.
Oh, definitely.
You know, so
and it feels weird to say this, but it's probably because there was a new director in the second one, and Shinji Mikami was a producer instead, which I think he fit better in that role because he got to kind of oversee the game production, but he didn't really involve himself in it that much.
Just kind of like with Resident Evil 2 then.
Yeah, kind of
so
like Resident Evil 2. So
are we saying that Shinji Mikami's not that good?
No, he's fucking good because he made Resident Evil 4 and Remake, and he's the directors of those.
Okay.
And he also did Vanquish, right?
Yeah.
And he also did he do Shadow of the Damned?
Yeah, I think he did Shadow of the Damned.
So he has some hits, but I think it's
a hit or miss.
Honestly, Evil Within is probably the only one where I think it was a miss. But it was good enough that it obviously garnered a fucking sequel, and who knows, maybe we'll see a third one in the future. So I think Evil Within 2 is definitely, if anyone comes out of this podcast wanting to know what game to play for Halloween, Evil Within 2. Because they even do a recap of the first one, so you don't have to fucking play the first one. But Evil Within 2 is my recommendation. Along with this one, we're going to get into it so we can cap off this spoopy episode of Two Brothers. Right. And that is a game that I've been playing, which I
shit my pants.
No, I didn't shit my pants.
Dude, yes, what? When you were playing it, that jump scare, dude, it got me fucking laughing.
I fucking hate you though because you purposefully try to scare me while I was playing.
Ain't that
shit.
The whole thing while you're playing video games to scare someone while they're playing a scary game?
No, not. Where did you hear this fucking rule?
They do that on YouTube. And it's in general.
Was this being recorded on YouTube when you fucking scared? That's what I thought.
No, but yesterday you literally fucking jumped. Okay?
Yeah. And it was only a locker that fell down. So let's talk about it. Visage.
Visage.
There's been a lot of debate on how you pronounce it. I call it Visage. A lot of people say Visage. Visage. I don't know who the fuck calls it that. But earlier we were talking about PT and games that managed to replicate that and capture that. None have done it better than fucking Visage. And if you don't know what Visage is, it is a first-person horror game, I guess you could say. It's kind of like Amnesia. But it is done so fucking well. The developer is called Sad Studios, I think. Sad Face Studio or something like that. And these guys were not. They were blatant. They were upfront. They were like, dude, we're making this because fucking PT. Like that game was so good. We want to make our own version of it. So they were not shy about their influence with Visage. And boy, does it fucking do it justice. If PT or Silent Hill, was to ever come out, this would be the fucking game. This would be the fucking game. You explore, so without giving too much away, because I don't want to give away the beginning, but you play as someone who wakes up in this house and you're kind of just exploring it, and you're basically like, I wouldn't say reliving, but you're being haunted by different people who lived in that house. So I think there's 4 chapters, and each chapter is a previous owner.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I would say it's kind of like, yeah, it is pretty lengthy. But yeah, it's kind of like a previous owner who lived there, and it kind of gives me Sinister vibes, from like the first movie where like that guy puts in the tape recorder and he sees what happened to the fucking family that lived there before. That's kind of like it with Visage. But like for example, the first, I think, what is it called? Lucy? The Lucy chapter, which is the first chapter of the game. You're basically finding out what happened to this little girl who was being called out from by a demon through her radio, and she made a friend with it, and her family tried to get her help, medical help and shit like that, and I don't want to say what happens to her, but she ends up making friends with this fucking demon, and you're having to find out like what happened to her, and while you're trying to find out what happened to her, you're being chased by this little girl, which is fucking terrifying because half her jaw is missing.
Oh.
But then in the second half of that chapter, you're being chased by her demon friend, which is fucking absolutely terrifying. He looks kind of like, I will kind of say, it kind of gives me like Insidious vibes, how this demon looks like. But its face is like a fucking baby doll's face and shit. And it has these long ass claws, and it just fucking hovers towards you, and it will kind of appear in front of you no matter how far you get away from it. And the only way to stop it from like getting you is like flashing the camera at it.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of ingenious. But as you're exploring the house will start to change little by little, and you don't really notice these differences. And I think that's what makes the game really fucking terrifying for me, is that every time I'm walking around this house, something different happens. And sometimes I'm not aware of it until like the paranormal activity happens. So like something cool that this game does is that there's paranormal activity that occurs randomly throughout the game.
And I saw that firsthand.
So lights will flicker, lights will turn off, or some lights will turn on. The TV will turn on, the TV will turn off,
or the radio will turn on. The water, right? Or
the
no?
water will start to run, shit like that. Doors will close by themselves, and I love how the game looks. First off, the game looks fucking amazing. But secondly, it almost captures what you would feel like if you were at your own fucking house, and you're like, shit, did I leave that light on? And then you go in to turn it off and shit. Like, that's what that game does. You would just like walk into a room and you'd be like, why the fuck is this lamp light on? I thought I turned it off when I came in here. You'll turn it off, and then music will start to fucking swell, and that's usually an indication that you're fucking losing it. So you have to drink pills to kind of keep yourself from going crazy. And I actually found out what happens if you don't drink enough pills. Shit goes fucking bananas. The radio will go on, the fucking lights will start to turn on and off, the fucking ghosts will start to come after you and shit. Like, you are fucked. You're absolutely fucked. There's one moment, and I'm gonna spoil this moment for people who probably haven't played the game but want to. But I never experienced this moment because I'm already past this part of the game. But there's one room where you walk into, and there's one single light in it, and it kind of looks like you're like in an attic or like in a basement. And all of a sudden your lighter stops working, and then you realize that the door to leave is closed, and then you look up at the fucking light bulb and you hear something, and it's the light bulb being like turned, and someone's unscrewing the fucking light bulb. And you have nothing else to do but just wait until the fucking light goes out. And then all of a sudden you're in pitch blackness for like a good minute with no fucking source of light. And then the light will turn on, and then you'll get killed by the fucking ghost. That right there, that shit was fucking terrifying.
And that didn't happen to you.
It didn't happen to me, but seeing it was fucking terrifying. It's, oh my god, dude. Like, the developers really took a lot of time to make this game fucking scary. The second chapter, you're being chased by an old lady who is taking a lot of resemblance from Lisa in PT. She will oftentimes appear to you outside of your house. So you'll be walking around and you hear the fucking ding dong bell.
Oh, the ring.
And then you'll walk downstairs and you'll see her like across the fucking street.
Oh, fuck that.
And you don't do anything. You're just fucking looking at this bitch. And then there's one that didn't happen to me. But I heard that it's probably the most scariest thing in the game. Is you walk into, I guess, like the living room. And the living room is like connected to the kitchen. So you'll walk into the living room, everything turns off, like the lights, everything. Even your lighter doesn't work. And then you walk over to the kitchen and you see kind of like a glint, like you see someone's eye.
Oh.
And it's this fucking old lady's head, huge ass fucking head that's in the kitchen. And that's all it is. And you can kind of tell, like, what the fuck is it? And then it will just come straight at you, and then everything goes back to normal.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That's just a fucking glimpse, dude, of the kind of scary shit that happens in this fucking game. I don't want to give too much away, but there's people hanging in the fucking ceilings when you walk into a room and you don't even fucking notice it. It is fucking terrifying, man. It is absolutely horrifying, the kind of shit that you get into this game. It's manageable after a point, but...
Okay. Watching you play this goddamn game. Okay, this is you. You turn on the game, and within the 5 minutes of that game, you're already fucking jumping.
And I'm pausing the fucking game, man.
I think you paused this game more often than you fucking...
Died?
Well, died.
Yeah.
Because then you fucking pause it, then 2 minutes later,
But, dude, the fucking developers are wrong for this, dude. Pausing it doesn't stop anything. Shit continues to happen when you pause it. And I know because I pause it, and then I turn on the home screen because I think that fixes it. And then I'll go back, and no shit happened to me. I paused it, went to the home screen of PlayStation, went back into the game. That bitch was right there and fucking jump scared me. Like it was punishing me for fucking pausing it. And there is a pause function, but it's like pausing in 3, 2, 1. It's like, just fucking pause it. This shit's too fucking intense.
Honorable mention, Zombie Army 4 has that same thing too. When you pause the game, there's you hear voices coming out of the TV.
Fuck, dude.
So that's pretty cool. What?
You're right. It happened to me. You paused it, and you left to go use the bathroom. And I started to hear that shit come out from the fucking microphone on the PlayStation 4.
Oh, it's some of the...
That shit fucking terrified me because I didn't know where it was coming from. We had the window open in our room, so I thought it was coming outside, and I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And I was like, "Oh, it's the fucking game." That shit terrified me, man.
Right?
Oh god.
What are you gonna say? Oh, Visage. Yeah, dude. When people compare like games, like this game is like, if you love Resident Evil, you love this game type of thing, or you love this. If you like this certain movie, you love that, or this embodies everything that you just said.
Everything.
Silent Hills, Sinister, fucking
Insidious, Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring,
everything,
dude.
When people are saying that, this game is what that is basically.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like. And the thing that fucking is like brilliant but also terrifying is that it forces you to fucking confront these things. Like I was telling you with the fucking camera, you see me play this part, where you're exploring like the part of the house that's all fucking dark, and the only way to illuminate your path is by turning on the camera flash, and it obviously like you click and then it brights up for a second, and you have to keep doing that. And then some shit will sometimes pop up with no fucking indication of a jump scare. It will just pop up. And you have to keep fucking going forward. Like, that's so brilliant. I don't know why no other fucking game developers thought of that. And so I give credit to them for doing that shit, because it is absolutely fucking terrifying to do that section of the game. And like I was saying, you can't pause it. So shit will still happen to you no matter what you're fucking doing. It is just... by far the most scariest game I've played, probably period, if I'm being quite honest. And this is coming from a guy who fucking couldn't pass the village section in Resident Evil 4 the first time it came out. Like, Visage is It is fucking scary as scary can be.
And that's why I ain't touching it. Okay? That's why you do. Why you not gonna play this? Yeah, because of the reason why. The reason I didn't. Everybody's gonna call me a little bitch because of this. Okay, that's why I'm not playing Visage. That's why I can't do fucking an
Five
Outlast.
Nights at Freddy's? Okay. I can't do Five Nights at Freddy's, dude. I can't fucking do that.
It's weird.
I can't believe
it's a little kid's game. You can't do that.
Like, I can't believe I can do Visage, but I can't do fucking Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, but talking about me, it's like when Outlast 2 came out, dude. It was too much for me. That I had to stop playing that fucking game.
I mean, I understand.
I couldn't tell you because there's this lady with the fucking like scythe or some shit, right? That chases you.
You talking about the second one?
Yeah, the second one.
Oh, okay. I don't know because I haven't gotten that far. I don't think.
Well, yeah, I think she chases you throughout the. I don't know how far she does, but I remember she chases you like the first section, like of the farm and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. Like I told you, I can't do chasing shit.
No, yeah, the first one has that fucking burly, patient, fucking guy missing his lips and shit. I passed the first one, so I kind of have that to fucking brag about, but it kind of loses its fear factor in the first one after you play it. Sort of like I think the third hour, you kind of just like, this shit doesn't really scare me anymore. That's not the fucking issue with Visage. Dude, that game will continue to fucking scare you because of the random events that happen in that game.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And let me just say this kind of ended my talk about Visage. But in Resident Evil, you get fucking save rooms where you know you're going to be okay and nothing's going to happen to you. Visage has none of that. There's no fucking safe place, no safe room, no nothing. You can stay in a fucking room and just back into a corner and just dash your safe room because you know nothing is gonna come from you from sides and shit. But that's probably the highest compliment that I can give that game is that it always challenges you to push you forward, despite being afraid. It tells you keep fucking going, and there's no place for you to take a rest unless you pause it. Obviously, there's no safe room or nothing. You just have to keep going. And that shit is fucking terrifying.
Dude, like the times that you jumped.
It has to be at least in the 40s. I fucking jumped at that game a lot. So if you're like me, you know, fucking brace yourself if you're gonna try to play that game. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to pass it because that first chapter was just fucking too much for me. But I made it through the first and second one, thankfully. And I think those are like the scariest ones. But anyone who's listening, if you want to know what games to play, I recommend Evil Within 2 and Visage. Those games I think are on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, you can try those games out. What do you recommend people play for Halloween?
To me, I can't believe we didn't talk about it, but to me, Until Dawn was.
Oh damn! Yeah, we didn't talk about Until Dawn. That's a good one too.
And it had its jump scares, it had its moments, but yeah, that one's good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
What's up for? I would say skip the dark pictures, the first one. And go to the I think it's Little Hope. Yeah.
Oh, that's what the game is called. Yeah, Little Hope.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, Little Hope. I think that one's way better. And I guess the third one's coming out soon.
Yeah.
But I think I'm enjoying this one more than the first one.
You can play this with friends too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can have fun with that.
Yeah, I think you can do that with Until Dawn too.
Yeah, yeah.
So I recommend those because you can make your own your own movie, kind of, like I'm gonna let this person die, I'm gonna let him survive.
Yeah, you can be like the director. It's cool.
So
any other games before we sign off that you'd recommend? Because I mean,
Dying Light, it's another one.
Dying Light is a good one. You are currently playing.
Can't believe we Undead Nightmare.
Undead Nightmare. Oh, fantastic fucking! I think we're gonna do an episode of the best DLCs of all time. That obviously is going to make the list, so I recommend that too. There's so many that we haven't fucking covered,
But
like,
it's an
like Amnesia,
you know?
Soma, shit like that. I know there's one game that you played, Observer, right?
Oh, that was pretty good.
That one's pretty good. So there's too much that we couldn't cover here.
Two brothers.
Suffering ties that bind.
Two brothers.
That's not a fucking game, man.
Oh, Suffering, yeah.
Those are good. Fear, I can't believe we talk about the first Fear. That shit is fucking good. But at least with my recommendations, Evil Within 2 and Visage. If you want to get a good fucking horror experience for Halloween,
Mine's, yeah, if you want to play with friends or play by yourself, Until Dawn and Dark Picture.
All right, that is going to be our recommendations. That's us talking about horror and video games. We might revisit this in a later episode, and just continue to talk, because I love horror games, even though I'm a little bitch about like playing them and shit. But yeah, and we're gonna continue with horror episodes, or horror theme episodes. So look out for that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you stay for when the new episodes come out. And yeah, this has been Bigfoot,
Frankenstein's monster.
And this has been Two Brothers.
Two brothers, guys.
Two brothers, guys.
Two guys.